And we're live. What's up, basketball fans? Hopefully everybody had an awesome hump day night. Lots of NBA action last night. Had some fun games to watch and some not so fun games that ended quickly, but that is the nature of the NBA in 2021. Got ourselves a brand new slate tonight. Let's kick it off, talk a little DraftKings in the meantime. I know a lot of you college basketball fans are getting psyched for the up and coming. Got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, exciting time, man. You know, I always love this time with baseball coming up, the NCAA tournament, NBA in full swing, playoffs coming up. So let's get this paper.
Yeah, I know this is a big time of the year for you. We are like less than 2 weeks away from baseball season.
Oh, man, you're making me hot and bothered over here.
I always remember back in the day, like opening day of baseball season, like finding a way to get that day off of work or, being an outside sales guy for a long time, I could finagle some free time that day. It is nice when we do this for a living. Like, you're home for the opening day of baseball season.
For sure. That is one of the very nice perks.
All right, guys. So let's kick it off. Today's show is brought to you by our good friends over at Drafters. We've talked about it, and I cannot reiterate it enough. If you are tired of FanDuel and DraftKings right now because there's so much attention that needs to be paid to the modern NBA, get your dollars in over at Drafters. It's a different way to play DFS. Get your skin in the game. The promo code is DFS5pack if you want to use it. Replay most days with our customers. I got a Facebook link to a Facebook group below. You don't need to have signed up through us. Just join the Facebook group. We post almost every single day that we're going to run a draft with some of our customers. It's fun. It's a good time. Come play with us. And it's an easy way to get skin in the game without having to worry about all the late swaps all the time and stuff like that.
No doubt about it, bro.
All right, guys. Current 5-pack promotions. We brought it up yesterday. We'll bring it up again today. You got that fat stimulus money. I've talked to you, a couple of you guys already who bought lifetime memberships, have made deposits over at Jazz because you got some fun money in your pocket. We will do the $150 annual membership. So we're not doing an MLB only package this year because the website, we have NBA only up instead this season. But a $150 payment will get you all three sports for a full calendar year. We got baseball starting in a couple of days. Venmo and PayPal addresses below. Otherwise, if you just want to pay through the website, the link is below, and I'll send you that reimbursement today. All three sports for a full calendar year for only $150. All videos and write-ups, everything that goes with it.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's start with the cash game lock. You guys might know him as the king. Other people know him as LeBron James. If you haven't heard of him, I don't know where you've been for the last 300 years that he has been the best player in the NBA. He is a cash lock today for me. No Anthony Davis, no Marc Gasol. They don't even have Alex Caruso around today. Dude's making an MVP push, front running, from behind, close games. He kind of does it all for this team right now. At 10-7, he's going to be wildly popular on the slate. He's huge chalk for a reason. I see very little reason to get away with him. And the number one reason for it is I don't really love the other studs in this spot. You know what I mean? Like, there aren't other guys. There is no James Harden, who kind of became a must yesterday. There is no Giannis Antetokounmpo. There is no Nikola Jokic on the slate. Give me Bron in cash games. He's going to be big chalk for a reason. Just put him in your lineup and move on. And if you want to play him in GPPs, I got no arguments with that either.
Yeah, he looks really good here. Really appealing, from a lot of different angles. Not the least of which being what you mentioned. There just aren't really good studs on this slate. So rostering him, affording him isn't hard at all. You've got LaMelo saying that, it's no big deal against him for the first time. I expect him to show LaMelo it is a big deal. He's the king. Maybe took a little bit of a slight in those words. And you don't really need to give him too much extra motivation for him to play well. Again, one of the rare guys you never mind on a back. Did they play last year?
That's 2 years ago.
Sorry, all the days kind of messed together at this point. But either way, whether he's on a back-to-back or not on a back-to-back, he's amazing. He's the king, as you mentioned, and he looks like one of, if not the best spend-up option on the entire slate.
Right, like, he's going to be big chalk, and if you want to get away with him in GPPs on an ownership play, I understand that. The Lakers have been kicking some butt lately, and maybe you think they're going to roll here as well. May not matter. They rolled on the Timberwolves the other day. He still got there pretty easily.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about that.
All right, so another guy that we like from this game is a guy that we haven't brought up in a while. And, we talk about the eye test sometimes, and you can watch a basketball game and be like, that guy was awesome, but the numbers don't necessarily correlate. Like right now, Montrezl Harrell, dude passes the eye test. If you've been watching the Lakers lately, I love what I'm seeing out of this guy. But 2, the numbers correlate as well. He's been awesome from DFS lately, and he's going to be too low owned today, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's got big time upside. I mean, we don't like to say check the game log, but check the game log. Playing really well. The upside's there at this price point. Charlotte likes to play small. Dream matchup for him. We've never minded picking on the Hornets with opposing big men. You've got them now coming down in the second half of a back-to-back. Regardless of how this game plays out, I expect Harrell to have a big role here. He looks really appealing. And again, as you mentioned, he's just not getting enough love.
No, he's not. Currently projected for like 10, 11% ownership, I think is what I saw. It might be a little higher than that, but I don't think it's going to be much higher than that. And today's a day I want to double up on centers, and he's one of them that even in cash games, I'm wildly considering him. And I don't care that he's not going to be high owned. Sometimes other guys that maybe don't make sense are too high. I don't know. I just like Trez in any format today.
Amen to all that.
All right. Next up, Toby Flenderson, a.k.a. Joe Ingles of the Utah Jazz. This one's going to be kind of a simple play, in my opinion. No Mike Conley tonight. He's likely going to slide into that starting position and kind of, I don't know, take turns running the show with that Donovan Mitchell guy that's also pretty good in his own right. Great matchup with a Washington Wizards team that are the fastest-paced team in the association, also weak on the defensive side of things. He's going to be popular tonight, but he's popular for obvious reasons. And he gives you dual eligibility at a couple of the weaker positions on the board. He seems like a real easy slide-in for, play for, I don't know, cash GPP. He's going to be high-owned, but that's okay because if he goes for 33 tonight, you probably just want him on your roster.
This is one more, like, we've read this book before, right? Like, we know what this is with Conley now being out, Ingles price not having adjusted, great spot against Washington. You just plug him in, and, you know, move on to the other 7 spots in your lineup if you want to be different. He just makes too much sense here at 5,200 and a great spot against the Wizards.
Go ahead. Watching the Jazz game the other day and hearing that he passed John Stockton on the Utah Jazz list of three-pointers made, there was no other number I've ever heard in my life where I'm like, man, has the game of the NBA changed? Because John Stockton was a all-star player for the Utah Jazz for 478 straight years. And he was a good shooter too. And the fact that Jingly Joe Ingles coming off the bench now has more three-pointers made on the Jazz than he does, that tells you how the modern NBA has changed.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Because Stockton could shoot too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, Stockton was one of the best point guards of the 90s, no doubt.
Yes, well, 80s, 90s, 2000s. He played from 1973 to 2018, right?
Yeah, I familiarize him with like the 90s Jazz, yeah. Right? He played in the 80s and into the 2000s for sure.
Did he play into the 2000s? I don't remember when he retired.
I'm not sure.
I'm actually going to have to look that up. I'm more just talking about how he was there for a long time. Now I'm curious. I'm going to go back and look that up when we're all done here to see when it was his rookie season, because I'm with you. I familiarize him with the 90s, but I don't remember when his rookie year was exactly.
I don't either. Probably late 80s, I would imagine.
Yeah, same here. All right, guys, let's move over to long shots for the day. So let's talk about a guy that, you know, we kind of discussed ad nauseum on the members only video, which is Scary Terry Rozier of the Charlotte Hornets. So you and I don't completely agree on how we think this game breaks down. But that doesn't mean I'm right or you're right. We just don't really know. Maybe we view it a little bit differently. It doesn't really matter in this one because Scary Terry got there last night playing really, really well without even touching the court in the fourth quarter. Now he's currently projected for under 5% ownership. They brought Devontae Graham back into the mix, but he's been eating into balls minutes more than he has Scary Terry. They kind of need Rozier shooting out there. He plays kind of that pseudo point guard, shooting guard type of position. Obviously more of an off guard when LaMelo Ball's out there because he's just a better passer than Scary Terry is. He played very well early last night against the Nuggets. He's one of the only reasons the Hornets were even in this game for a little while before the Nuggets just flat out beat them down in the third quarter. So we've watched Rozier go up and down for this Hornets team. He plays really well, and then he just disappears for a few games. Right now he's playing well. You can get him at that off-guard position in a spot where if the Hornets are competitive, he's likely a big part of it.
Yeah, I do kind of like Charlotte in this spot, but either way, a lot to like about Rozier here. As you broke it down, he's playing well right now. He's very affordable at 6,600. You know, like I mentioned, I think Charlotte plays well here, so that makes me like a guy like Rozier. You don't necessarily think that Charlotte is in this game, but that's kind of where his, you know, price tag at 6,600 opposed to like a LaMelo Ball who's over 8K really makes a big difference. So Rozier's a guy playing big minutes. He's shooting with confidence right now, and that can't be understated. I like him quite a bit here. I don't view him as necessarily the long shot that you do, but I like him, and I get why you're mentioning it because he's projected for such low ownership.
Yeah, like 2.5% as of right now. So you should be able to get him. I would just assume that will stick in the single digits, unless all of a sudden like LaMelo Ball and Devontae Graham are out, which we have zero reason to even think that's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Dario Saric, kind of the same thing. Like, he's going to play, but coming in with really, really low ownership. And one of my favorite parts about this one is these teams run it back again tomorrow. So if the Suns, who are the vastly superior team, get this one over early, Saric is a guy I don't think loses his minutes.
Yeah, don't think loses them at all. You mentioned that on the members only video, and that kind of just made me like him more. A guy that's playing well right now. He doesn't play a ton of minutes, but when he's out on the court, he's productive. He's going to get more run if this game gets a little bit out of hand. Against Minnesota, that's always in play. At 4,500, we don't have a ton of like really cheap value plays that you love on this slate. He works at a, not dirt cheap price point, but at a, not much more than that. And I like him at 4,500. You mentioned this a couple videos ago. Like, Saric is a good NBA player. He's a guy that when he gets the opportunity, can put up good numbers. There was a time when in Philly where he was like the next guy coming up. Never turned out to be that guy. But now he's at the point where he's a little bit underrated in my mind.
Life is weird. And there's times where you can say something that happened 3 or 4 years ago. And you're like, oh my God, that feels like yesterday. Saric being in Philly feels like decades ago to me. And I don't know why that is, but I don't know how old he is, like 27 maybe. But him playing for the 76ers seems just decades ago to me.
I could not agree more.
Like, oh my God, that seems foreign. But yep, it wasn't that long ago.
Nope.
So anyways, guys, that's what we got for today. Don't forget to hesitate to click on that thumbs up button. We got that the annual membership sale going on. Anybody that signed up, and I talked to a bunch of you guys on email already today, that has signed up to play on Jazz Sports using our 5-pack promo code, they do have something today that if you have signed up through us, you can get 2 brackets and the opportunity to try to win $1 million. So not a bad day to make that initial deposit. Outside of that, great luck today, guys. I know a lot of you guys have a lot of fun stuff coming up for you this weekend in the world of college basketball.
Let's get it, man. Thanks, guys.